Karski.
Hi everyone. A while ago, when browsing a web archive of old Commodore games, I came across a game from year 1985 with a curious title, The X-Rated Adventure by Hornysoft, Volume 1. I was intrigued by the title, and my interest was not dampened by the fact that the game had earned a standing on Lemon 64's list of worst C64 games. This could mean anything for a game of its age and kind, so I only hoped that I would not be bored. Fear not. This is one of those games that have been outmoded so badly that they have become fascinating objects of study again. Make no mistake, this game is a toxic, unfunny, sexist, misogynist teenage sex fantasy, and it was rubbish from day one. This game is shocking, but the shock value comes from lewd juvenile writing and humor that are very much out of step with today's sensibilities. I'm sure that some viewers will find the game offending, so proceed with care. Remember, it's just a piece of shit old game. Let's try it out. After the loading screen, we get to the title and copyright screens. Notice how the developer has changed from Hornysoft to Horny Incorporated, but the software piracy plea makes it clear that the game has been a one-man show. Let's hit the return to play. And so it begins. There is a very sexy blondie sitting with her legs spread and ready. The beginning really sets the tone for the adventure. As you can see, the X-rated adventure is a text adventure. This genre started in 1976 with the game Colossal Cave Adventure, and this game follows its conventions. The player can be at one room at a time, so the text on screen is the description for the first room. The player communicates by writing one or two word commands. The text parser usually accepts either single word commands like look or verb and object commands like talk girl. Movement between rooms is done with directions like north or west. However, the text parser in-game feels quite limited in its vocabulary. So, there is another naked girl in the bathroom. What should you do, sire? Well, this being a sex adventure, let's try to make out with her. Oh well. On this room there is a magic word. Let's try that out. Out of respect for late Bill Haley, who thankfully had passed before this game was published, I don't want to comment on this particular joke. However, I would like to point out that the earliest text adventures often talk to the player in a conversational tone, so the light-hearted tone may have been familiar to games of yore. No, this is hopeless. Without help on command syntax, we are getting nowhere. I went online to search for game manual or walkthrough, but found nothing. However, not everything was lost. 8-bit games were very small in size, and Commodore 64 disk drives only had capacity for 170 kilobytes of data per side. It was quite feasible to open the D64 file in a suitable editor and simply open each file and examine them. A file called help is certainly interesting. It's actually a basic program. This message is quite cute, but does not help us with the problem. To see how actual game code can be examined, let's open objects file. This file helpfully shows up all the objects in the game. Some list, huh? I love the peculiar spelling too. Advent is the main file. It is quite straightforward to scroll down the file and examine it. It is funny how little space there really is for the whole game. A lot of strings here. There are, of course, a lot of false positives, but here on screen are the directions and basic commands like take, drop, save, and so on. Take note of the word chance. We'll get to try it in a moment. This is interesting. It looks like the programmer has signed off his work in bytecode. I wonder if this is his real name. It sounds like a comic book character. Other files of interest are score, contain the different level of achievement in the game. Room files contain room descriptions with a matrix of directions you can go to. Occasionally, the room files also contain keywords and commands you need, like in room 5. Aha! The translucent object is wonder of wonders, the rubber, and the command we are looking for is examine object. Armed with this information, we should be ready to beat the game. Let's see if having the rubber changes anything. By the way, the game is very exact and unforgiving in its syntax. Let's try the secret word chance. Interesting. Wonder what this is all about. Let's get back to the original room where the game began. With this bombshell, it's time to wrap up this video. For those who are willing to explore further in the game, you can see the walkthrough in another video. I would hesitate to say that this old game has any charm, but primitive adventures like this are a throwback to an earlier era where any teenager with a dirty mind can put together a commercial product and spread it through newspaper advertisements. There is no creative control and hardly any customer feedback, positive or negative. You can create whatever you like.